Hey, happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to another session with Jonathan Mallard and Ryan Faloona. We're going to show you a little bit today about Benzinga Pro. And if you don't have a free trial, head on over to pro.benzinga.com, grab your free trial for 14 days and check it out. So, Ryan, I saw a couple interesting plays today from our newsfeed tool. News is pretty much what we're known for, right? You've probably seen Benzinga news on your brokerage, on various fintech apps, etc., or maybe you just see it in some chat rooms, or maybe on Benzinga Pro. So, Ryan, where would you like to start with the news feed?
Well, first, we're going to start with a pro tip. The music from that commercial that you just saw, I actually set that to be my alarm ringtone in the morning. So when I get up, I'm full of all the funk. It's awesome. And I think that can be a huge quality of life upgrade for anyone out there. Now, with that pro tip aside, I think what we should do is we should actually start with the news feed. I think as far as news catalysts go, this to me is the one big thing, right? Like a news catalyst is going to trump any chart or cup and handle formation or inverted, head and shoulders or ascending, whatever for chart formation and voodoo magic you like. The news catalyst is going to trump that. It's going to be an engine. It can be viable for day trades. It can be viable for swing trades. It can be viable for investments. So getting a feel of how you can actually use this newsfeed to your advantage, I think is going to be really important. Let's start with the newsfeed and let's go into those examples that you found, Jonathan.
Awesome. So we've got a blank workspace in front of us here on Benzinga Pro. And at the top, you see all the different tools that are available, including the news feed. Also on the left-hand side of the screen, there's a navigation bar, and the news feed is located at the top of that navigation bar. So we just click on that icon or click on in workspace. And here we've got an unfiltered feed. There is a little bit of highlighting available here, but there's so much information. And the question is, what's the difference between this newsfeed and what you can get available on your brokerage, other paid sites, other free sites? And the answer is twofold. Number one would be the speed. And when we're talking about latency or speed, I would divide it into two categories. One would be the manually written categories from our professional news desk. And you can see on the right hand side there, it says BZ Wire. So when you see BZ Wire, that's our curated news feed. Those are manually typed headlines from our news desk, and that's fantastic because they do a few things. They highlight key data points. They can add additional color to a situation, and they can manually tag these headlines with certain category tags. And we're going to show you in just a minute here how you can filter by those category tags. Now, there are some other sources that are available. So let's go ahead and click on sources. There are some buttons underneath the search bar there in the upper left corner. And you can see Benzinga Wire is checked. And then there's a bunch of other sources. Just know that, if you want the fastest possible news, I would point out press releases because those are pumped directly into our feed along with SEC filings. But when I'm trying to get the fastest possible news, I would just check that box for press releases, and that's going to add a lot of content to your feed, but make sure that you get it right when those companies are announcing that news to the public. Now, here's the other part. So we've got the speed, right? This is going to be faster than CNBC, Yahoo Finance, etc. But there's so much information. The question is, how do I filter this down to find something that's really actionable? And that's where those category filters come in. So Ryan just clicked on categories, and we can see we have this whole list of different types of categories here. Now, if we have time, we can add a few more here. I'm just going to add 4 right now that I just know that there's some good stuff from this morning on. Number 1 is hot. It's highlighted in red right there in the middle. These are the biggest news items of the day that can move the entire market. Then underneath hot, you have M&A for mergers and acquisitions. And I kind of skipped over it at the top, but under analyst ratings, I just want to highlight initiations today. just initiations. And we'll see where that leaves us. For those of you who are brand new to analyst ratings, an initiation is the first time that an analyst firm gives a rating to a company. And we'll see in a minute here how that can affect the price of that company. And then lastly, number 4 would be under the news category. We're going to take a look at rumors. And, rumors, pretty self-explanatory, right? But it can move the price of a stock based off of, traders believing they know that something is more likely to happen. And then when it comes to fruition, it could either cause continued momentum or it might sell off either way. So let's
And Jonathan, really quick note about rumors. Sometimes the trade actually happens when the rumor is released, not when the news is released.
Right.
So I'm really glad that you selected this category because this can often be your leading indicator to some type of movement. Now, is it going to be guaranteed movement? No. Is it going to be guaranteed up movement? No. But you can use this category to kind of figure out, hey, these stocks might have something going on here. There might be a trade or multiple trades involved here.
Exactly. And so there's a lot more on here, obviously, but just for today's purposes, let's click done in the bottom right corner. And one that stuck out to me earlier was at 8:37 a.m. on, I don't know, I think that's actually in Central Time.
Yeah. So Jonathan, let's explain that real quick because you just talked about latency with the press releases. Let's explain how the times in the news feed actually work. It's very, very simple. It defaults to your computer's time zone. So as Jonathan mentioned, I'm in the Central Time zone, so I'm actually an hour behind Eastern Time. There's no way to adjust this. It's just automatically going to assume the setting that your computer has. So when you see 8:37 on my screen here, this actually corresponds to 9:37 a.m. Eastern Time.
Perfect. And so what you can see there is underneath that headline, it's tagged with M&A for mergers and acquisitions, movers, news, rumors, which is why it's pink, and trading ideas. And so we can see Northern LifeLock shares see volume, hearing traders circulate deal reporter report that McAfee said to consider bid for company. Now, there's a few things I want to highlight about this headline. Number 1 is see volume. Shares see volume. If you're a day trader, you care about volume, pretty much no matter what. However, the second part here is very important. Traders circulate. When we're talking about rumors, you have to understand the type of rumor. So anytime you hear traders circulate or traders chatter from our news desk, they're saying, hey, this is impacting the price of the stock, but buyer beware, essentially. This sounds more of like a fluffy headline to me where it could go up and maybe it will come to fruition, but that really depends on, what is the value of a deal reporter report and the types of things that these traders are circulating. But that being said, let's go ahead and click into the Northern LifeLock chart here. Notice how we can just hover over those tickers. It clicked over to McAfee at first, but I really wanted to also take a look at Northern LifeLock. Look at this chart, guys. So notice how we click on that ticker. It opens up that company in our details tool. And then within the details tool, you have the basic chart, but you can click over to the more advanced chart as well, where you can look at the 1-minute candle, 5-minute candle, etc., and also add indicators. So, if you look at the timing of this came out right after the open, and we told you that volume was coming in. It pretty much didn't look back there. And so this is a fantastic example of if you were following the rumors on the Benzinga Pro news feed, this was absolutely a great trading opportunity.
Absolutely. And Jonathan, one more thing to add to that. I really like that we clicked into this chart. If you know me, you know that I use these charts all the time. On the chart tab, they're absolutely great. But there's actually a shortcut here. When you mouse over these tickers, you'll actually see you'll get a little line chart of the graph as well as the price. But notice also on this graph that there is a little blue line. And that blue line indicates when this news story was dropped. Look what happened to the price after this news story was dropped. Now, the keen observer will realize that after it did make this move up, it came all the way back down. And yeah, that can happen. The thing to note here is that there's this rumor is the cause of this movement. And like you just said, Jonathan, if you were watching this category this morning, there was a trade here. There was actually a trade in both directions here. If we hover over NLOC, look at NLOC. As soon as that came out, this thing just keeps going up, and you can see here on the chart exactly what happened. So maybe this is a potential catalyst for a swing as the day trade, a big run here right off the open is already over. Great categories here, real awesome tools that can help kind of prepare you and can help keep you in the loop of what's going on. Absolutely love it, Jonathan.
Cool. And then I know we don't have a ton more time here, but one of my favorite categories to watch are those analyst rating initiations. And if you scroll down, there's one for NUVB today. It just kind of stuck out as I was prepping for this session. So, pretty standard, right? It initiates coverage with an outperform rating, and then we can just click on that ticker and take a look at what happens, right? So it looks like it gave it a nice little pop there. And if we click on the news feed, we can even see, if there are any additional headlines surrounding that. Because something to keep in mind here is the initiation could be the catalyst in and of itself, but look at all these other analyst ratings to pay attention to. So there could be additional analyst ratings, or there could be a primary catalyst, maybe some other news item that many times these analysts are reacting to. So, especially with smaller price per share stocks, I'm always looking for those positive analyst actions, especially when the market is green for the day, and it can really give us some volatility.
Absolutely. And I love this tip too, Jonathan, because you can see that there are several analyst ratings here, right? 20, 16, 20, 16, 16. And if we go to the chart, you'll notice that we're kind of approaching a triple or quadruple top here at 12, right? So if we break this 12, we know we've got price targets at 16. Now we're going to have some technical momentum as well. You got multiple data points there for a potential trade plan. And we were able to do it simply by watching these news categories and taking a peek at a chart. Benzinga Pro does a really good job of tying that stuff together to try and make the work that you need to do easier and quicker.
Awesome. Since we have a couple minutes here, Ryan, do we just want to dive into some of the additional news categories that can be helpful for filtering?
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. One of the ones that you mentioned was hot. I actually really, really like this one. That helps me stay on top of all of the news stories that might be big that maybe my focus is not on. And then when I come into this news category, you already mentioned rumors, but there are a couple of other ones that I really like. I really like this insider trades. I know we covered that when we compare that to the SEC feed as well. You've got me looking into biotechs now, and I guess the coronavirus backdrop also has me doing that as well. Econ numbers always important to the macro market, and then contracts and asset sales also very, very important. Noticeably, or most of the time, means an influx of cash as well.
Absolutely, cash is king. So
that's right.
When they see that cash coming into a company, either for selling a factory or subsidiary firm, I think there's a good contracts headline this morning on a divestiture where they were basically selling off. I forget which company it was, but if you just filter for contracts this morning, you'll see one that definitely moved the market there. It looks like we're just trying that out really quick. If you're ever curious about what is included in one of those categories, it's nice that you can just click on it, click done, and see what shows up. So let us know if you have any more questions. You can always reach out to us at vipaccounts@benzinga.com, or if you're inside the platform, you can also contact us through that little blue bubble in the bottom right corner. So thanks again for joining us, and until next time, happy trading.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate that. All right. And there is the email again on the screen, vipaccounts@benzinga.com, pro.benzinga.com to get a free 2-week trial. All right. Every today I like doing a quick news desk update with a member of our news desk. So let's do that right now, shall we? Fancy schmancy.
Ooh, I love that intro.
Steve Krause, Benzinga's Newsmaster General and Gamer-in-Chief. What's up, sir?
How's it going? How was your weekend?
It was okay. Just, read a lot of news as I wanted to do. What about you?
I'm the weekend warrior here. I'm catching up on news. I actually was watching some WandaVision this weekend, catching up on that. But we're not here to talk about TV.
We're not here to talk about TV. We're here to talk about what's moving the markets. Steve, what's on your radar here this morning? What headlines are you watching?
All right. Well, so obviously the biggest news of the day, weekend, month, year, whatever you'll call it, is the coronavirus stimulus stimmy checks. So we got an update over the weekend. Yep.
I don't have my. It's not even plugged in. Damn
You're welcome for the free sound effect.
Thank you.
So yeah, we got an update. The Senate revised the House's coronavirus bill, reducing the cap at which people will receive it. So now you'll receive it at around $75,000 per person versus, I can't remember what it was at before, maybe $140,000. And then they reduced the child care tax credit from $400 to $300 a month, but it is now passed and is back to the House. And from my understanding, we are going to see a vote tomorrow on this bill. So,
all right.
So vote tomorrow, likely.
My son, I can't get my son. It wasn't plugged in.
Is that a baby crying sound effect?
No, I'm trying to get it to work, but I had to replug everything back in, and now I don't. Now I don't even know.
Show me the money!
There we go.
Yep, show me the money. So yeah, so that's a $1,400 stimulus checks per person, $2,800 for married couples, and I'm not sure the price or the amount for children, but there's a per dependent check as well. So expect to see that vote tomorrow to be passed. There's really no roadblocks or poison pills in this bill. And then, Biden will probably sign it by the end of the week. And then, they're wanting to get those checks out ASAP. So I would kind of expect those in the next few weeks.
So it's happening. It's happening.
It's happening. The $1,400 is happening. And, the last time those happened, I believe we got boosts in, several areas of the economy and several areas of the market because, we just had an influx in, consumer purchases and trading, in general, So yeah, that's something, a big catalyst to look out for tomorrow and for this week.
All right, Steve, I just want to interrupt you for a second.
Please.
We do have some breaking news, but it didn't break yet.
Okay.
Workhorse is halted on a circuit breaker.
Okay.
So you can see that halt in Benzinga Pro right there, 10:47:56 a.m. Eastern time in the Benzinga Pro. Let's see that.
Now let me
spike right there.
Let me read this headline right here. So there is news on it. Workhorse shares are halted after a report that the U.S. House Democrats are going to introduce a bill to provide Postal Service with $6 billion to buy additional electric delivery vehicles. That's a big order. So now it doesn't necessarily specify that all those vehicles are going to be, Workhorse vehicles, as we heard that other companies were vying for those contracts. But $6 billion is a big order.
Well,
for
remember here,
Workhorse.
So let's zoom out. out. So Workhorse did not get the first contract. That was that chaos.
Correct.
Right there.
Correct.
It went to Oshkosh.
Correct.
And now, what the hell is that? Me, or is that you?
I think that's me. Some like TD Ameritrade is freaking out.
TD Ameritrade. Oh no, it's me.
It's me. It's me as well. I'm hearing it,
dude. TD Ameritrade's bugging out right now. All right, let's.
That's okay. Yep, that's annoying.
That's obnoxious. All right. I just closed mine out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that as well.
So this was the news that Workhorse did not get the contract.
Correct.
That green spike 2 days later. That was the news that some House Democrats are going to fight the decision. This green bar right here today was what Steve just. So just read that again real fast.
So there's a report that U.S. House Democrats are going to introduce a bill to provide the Postal Service with $6 billion to buy added electric delivery vehicles. So they're going to buy $6 billion more.
Well, they
I can't
didn't
remember what the commitment prior.
They didn't say from who.
They didn't say from who.
whom.
So yeah, from whom. So Oshkosh, obviously,
So
Oshkosh is actually fairly quiet on that report. So the maybe the assumption is that those, some of that $6 billion, or a lot of it's going to go to Workhorse, considering Oshkosh is, that's kind of already baked in there. So obviously Workhorse is one to watch now. That's a pretty big deal, pretty big contract.
All right,
there.
so 10:47, these are very typically 5-minute halts. So at 10:52, somewhere around 10:52, 10:53, we should get a resumption.
It should be 10:52 and 56 seconds.
Right, that's why I said 10,
yeah.
10:53.
So basically 10:53.
Right.
So that's on my radar right now. Good spot, Spence. Good spot.
Hey,
that's what we do here.
What else you got?
So what else do we have? All right, I gotta go back and find my list. All right, so the CDC today is set to announce some guidelines for people who are vaccinated. That's supposed to happen at 11 o'clock, so in about 8 minutes. We're not 100% sure if it's going to be a press conference, a release. That's just something we're hearing, so something to keep an eye out on today. Don't think it's going to be anything game-changing, but if you're hearing some sort of, CDC says vaccinated people should whatever, that's happening in about 8 minutes, so look at that. Let's see, what else do we have? We had a drone strike over the weekend. A drone strike.
I heard about that.
That the Houthis took responsibility for a drone strike on the Saudi oil, Saudi Aramco's eastern.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Right.
I got Workhorse up here. Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
Yep. Okay.
And there we go.
There we go.
Continues higher. Look at that. Yep.
Resumption of halt. We're going to get to 18 in a few seconds.
I imagine it's going to be halted again to the upside.
Yep. $18. Do I see it?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's working. It's working.
You want to see 18. Yeah, Steve, another halt here wouldn't surprise me. Let's see what happens, though.
Although it looks like it's consolidating around like 730, 750. 1730, 1750. Yeah.
Byron sellers duking it out right here.
Yeah.
They're not going to let it get see here. So this is a good time to zoom out.
Yep.
And so whatever. So let's see what is so special about $18. So this is a daily chart. Don't really see any. Oh, you do see it right there. You see,
there's a few day levels right there.
Yeah, there's a couple daily highs right here from the 2nd, the 1st, and the 26th.
And look where it dropped down to after news of Oshkosh. That big bar. What level did that drop down to?
1187 was the low. Oh no,
okay,
no, I'm sorry.
You're right there, yeah.
Right there, the low was 1250.
Okay, 1250. Got it. Okay, so that's our bottom there. So, and look, it was up at $30 ahead of that. So obviously the assumption, if the market assumes it's getting this entire $6 billion, it goes up to 30, right? Because that's the assumption. So obviously it's a lot of uncertainty. The next question and the next step is details. How much of it is Workhorse getting it at all?
Yeah, we don't even know that.
Imagine Oshkosh gets all $6 billion, or Tesla gets some money. Whatever, who knows?
Speaking of Oshkosh, let's take a look. No action.
It's really quiet. I think it's just kind of priced in. Considering the House Democrats had previously said that they're going to fight to include someone like Workhorse.
Yeah.
That makes sense that this would just be the move on it.
James Santangelo said it best. Overhead supply like crazy.
Yep.
I mean, look at all the people that are stuck now. Anybody that bought this stock in the last 6 months, most of them are stuck. So, anyway, that was interesting.
That's true.
Don't often see a ton of intraday news like that.
No, that was a that's an exciting one. That's going to be one to watch for today. I'm assuming we're going to get a lot more details out there. We're going to get our team on some outreach on that and see if we can get some comment from Workhorse, from Oshkosh, from perhaps the House Democrats themselves. But so back to some few more news items. So there again, there was a drone strike over the weekend. The Houthis took responsibility for a drone strike in the eastern kingdom or the eastern part of Saudi Arabia, their oil fields. And you can see a spike in crude when those futures opened up. I had to close my toss because of those alerts, but
it's safe now. I reopened it.
Oh, you reopened it? Okay, good.
We're I don't know what that was about.
I don't know.
Everyone in chat saying the same thing though. Their thinker swims when
good. I'm glad. I thought it was just me, and I was like, "Oh, Spencer can hear through my headphones." No way. No. Okay.
I couldn't hear yours. Mine was too busy.
Yep. So let me pull up my crude charts right here. Well, so we definitely saw a spike there in crude. I'm not sure the extent to
the high. The high was 67.98. Is what I'm seeing.
That's yeah. How big of a move was that?
I mean it's giving it all back now, but oil here is flirting with the 70. It was flirting with 70, which you haven't been able to say for quite some time.
Sure,
but. I mean,
the news from last week was that the Saudis were planning on opening up their supply anyway, in the coming months. So maybe this was just like a knee jerk.
Remember the Saudis did that second supply cut, right? The OPEC did a supply did 2 supply cuts, I believe, last year. Then the Saudis came out in January, right, and came out with like another bonus supply cut of 1 million barrels a day, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably trying to get that back online.
Yep.
But that was a surprise to everyone. That was not a part of OPEC. That was just the Saudis saying we're gonna.
That's true.
We're gonna cut supply.
That's true. All right. So a few more quick things to highlight. Few bigger news items. So Apollo, ticker APO, Apollo Global Management, signed a deal, $11 billion all stock merger with Athlean.
Right.
So that is confirmed. So APO is one to watch out for.
And what was the ticker on Athene? Was it ATH? ATH, right?
It is ATH. Yep.
So
obviously Athene spiked on that.
In all stock deal, there's a ratio. Let's find the ratio in the news feed. I bet you we have it. Actually, I know we have it. The ratio is a 1.149. So if anybody out there is an Athene shareholder, they will receive 1.149 shares of Apollo for every share of Athene that they own.
Yep.
So
there's also GE had some news.
GE. Oh,
I know. GE nears deal to combine aircraft leasing unit with AirCap.
Oh, look at this daily chart on GE. Holy moly.
Right?
If I had held, I would have been almost back in the green. I bought this thing years ago and sold it when it was down to single digits, but wow, look at that. $14.
Yep. A $13 billion deal.
GE. Have a year, GE.
Right. Well done.
Jeez.
So in the last minute, I got 2 more fun, totally non-macro, totally just, things that happened. Oprah's interview with the royal couple. That was big. Everyone's talking about that. And some gossip. Mackenzie Bezos got remarried.
Yeah, I saw that. To like a teacher, right?
Yeah, to a teacher in Seattle, I believe. So so one of the world's wealthiest women remarried.
There we go. All right, Steve Krause, Benzinga's Newsmaster, General, Gamer in Chief. Steve, thanks a lot.
See ya. Good luck, everyone.
All right, we've got SPAC's Attack coming up next. Sylvia Jablonski from Defiance ETFs is the guest. Very excited for that. I'm going to end this stream and see y'all over on SPAC's Attack. Provided they're alive. I don't even know if they're alive yet. Maybe I should wait. Before I sign off, nah, it's 11 o'clock. SPAC's Attack it is.